Welcome to the Sk8LikeYou podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Hey, it's Mark, Sk8LikeYou podcast from Sk8LikeYou.com. I am here with Dale Edwards. It is right.
That's right.
Nice. Owner of Skate New England, which is a newer platform, I guess, for just skate video and skate videography. Is that right?
So far, yeah, that's what it's become. It's only a month and a half, 2 months old.
Yeah, but you wouldn't know it. I mean, like, it looks like you're getting plenty of traffic moving.
Definitely.
You know.
Yeah, it's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of skating, which is obviously the best part. But
right.
But the amount of time that's put into like taking, capturing, editing the videos has been a lot. I think in my first 3 weeks, I uploaded around 700 videos to my Instagram. Which, yeah, I was like at work on my phone, like upload, like
700 videos in a week.
Yeah,
so
no, 3 weeks, like three weeks about.
But even still, that's what you average. I mean, that's a lot per day.
Yeah, 24. I think I was averaging around 24 a day.
So wait a minute. Now, are you collecting content up to that point? Or is this content you've pulled from other things that you've already done?
No, it's all mine. Everything that I've shot. So since pretty much the beginning of 2024. So everything is from this year, but I took 200 or 300 videos down at RITC when I went to visit them. I take videos at my home rink. I travel to other rinks that are in the greater New England area, and I take videos there. I just went to a breast cancer benefit last week and took about 200 videos from that I haven't uploaded yet. But I have a mass of content that I'm trying to get onto as many platforms as I can.
So you just have this library, basically. You know what I mean? And it's just a matter of like getting it up somewhere. So, what's funny is that so when the Sk8LikeYou thing, man, it was purely accidental. Like this whole thing wasn't even supposed to be. I was like off of social media before I even started skating again because of well, you know how social media is, right? I don't have to get into a lot of it, right? But when COVID got going, man, it just got so much worse. And I was like, man, if I do not disconnect from this stuff, I'm going to hate everybody I'm supposed to love. You know what I mean? I had to, and I just bailed on it. And when I got into skating, I literally started a Facebook just for that. Right. Like, so if a family member happened to see me on there and they friend requested me, fine. But it was just a personal page. And then it just kind of morphed into this thing. But when I started the website, I had to have a professional page on Facebook to connect it.
Right.
And so like I had all this stuff and all these followers on this personal page that I couldn't move. I was so frustrating, man. You know what I mean? Like, and Eddie and Liz, I don't know if you know them, the guys that run Skate Takes. Eddie's such a trooper, man, because he's just like, do not give up. Don't give up. Like, just and honestly, but that whole process of porting all that stuff over there,
right,
man, that's pretty ambitious of you. Because I think I don't think it was like 25 minutes. I was like, dude, I am not moving all this stuff over.
Okay, so here's what happened with me. Like I did not really have much of a social media presence. Like I would post some videos every now and then to my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page. I accumulated like 1.4 thousand followers on there just from like posting videos.
Yep.
And then I started up this Instagram page for my personal skating, Dale on Wheels.
Okay.
And I started posting stuff on there, and I was taking like masses of videos, and I was putting together compilations and highlight videos and all of this stuff. Very little of it was centered around me as a skater. My page was like highlights and stuff, and I started getting all of these like requests, like, hey, where are my videos? Where like I was taking videos of everybody, but there wasn't enough time in the day to post them all, right? So I'm like, all right, I need another solution here because I like the direction that Dale on Wheels is headed. So that's going to be for highlights and stuff like that. And so I was like, all right, I just need a place to dump videos. So I created the Roller Skate New England Instagram just for the purpose of putting the videos on the internet. Okay. That changed pretty quickly because of like the popularity that it was growing. I started talking to Connie Stowers, the real skater, and she has created herself a really wonderful social media presence. And she gave me some tips and guides and stuff, and it sounded like what I was doing with the Skate New England Instagram was great, but it's not the right platform for uploading masses of videos. Really, YouTube is. So now I've been bolstering my YouTube Shorts presence. I have playlists made from the events that I go to and things like that. So, and I'm going through now, I'm watermarking all my videos before I post them, and I'm using the Roller Skate New England Instagram page as the highlight reel page. The Facebook, I haven't really had time to do much of the Facebook because of kind of how I have the recommendation system set up. And then the, what's the last one? The TikTok. I've been doing TikTok live a lot, whether it's just me sitting in my office, editing videos and cutting them together, or I did a live session the other day where I was just outside roller skating. And so I'm trying to use all 4 platforms in the way that they were intended. Right. And I'm learning this whole process right off the bat. I still have, like I said, thousands of videos. I took more videos last night. I'm taking more tonight. And it's really just finding time to do all the editing and get them all uploaded and everything. So,
well, I hear you when you talk about kind of like just flying by the seat of your pants kind of thing. Cause I talked about this with some people, I think, especially the older you get and kind of the more things you try and more challenges you face, there is a certain amount of optimism that comes with ignorance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
sure.
where you don't, like you have no clue how difficult this is going to be. But that's what gets you to feel like you can to be delusional enough that, hey man, I'm going to make this happen. Like, this is going to be easy and whatever, at least like maybe not easy, but so not knowing a lot of stuff, just having the right kind of positive mindset about it, man, not being infiltrated with all this, like, yeah, but you know what, you got to do this and you got to do that, and just get up and go, just do something, right? Just get up and move. And all that stuff you kind of learn. If you're anything like me, you probably have to do it to learn it anyway, Right. My whole thing is like, I definitely will use I'm trying to use Insta, Facebook as like the highlight spot, the place to promo stuff. Right. Especially YouTube is honestly, for long term, I think for a long format thing like this, YouTube is going to be the place to be, man. For Skate Like You.
YouTube or Patreon, like depending on how you want to monetize it, Patreon's also an option, which I'm going to be using like platforms like this, podcasts, hopefully launching a roller skating tutorial series that would be available on Patreon. And then what you can do is you can cut up that long form content and put it on to platforms like Instagram and YouTube Shorts as teasers to push people in that direction.
Right. Exactly.
It's just like how you're using the platforms and how you choose to monetize your content. One of the promises that I made to myself and to the roller skaters of New England is that I don't want to charge them for their videos. That's something that I really want to try and hold fast on. When I take a video of somebody, I want to be able to provide that to them so that they can see how much they've grown. I mean, they're the ones doing the work. They're out there practicing. They're hitting the rink every day. They're spending the money on that. I don't want them to have to pay me for what I'm doing. I would rather the internet pay me. I would rather monetize my content outside of just like trying to go down to their house, somebody else's roller skating rink, take videos of them and saying, hey, pay me for these. That doesn't feel right to me.
No. So, but no, absolutely not. Yeah, it doesn't even, no, I don't even, yeah, I totally get what you're saying. But your other thing though is like, okay, so I'm going to shoot these videos, use them as I see fit, but you can have them. Like you can have, like, this is you can have it, do what you will with it.
So not only can they have it, I obviously have the public playlists on my YouTube. I post the highlight reels on my Instagram, but I also have a Google Drive database with all of my skaters. And once the videos are edited and they're completed, I upload them into the Google Drive. I share the folder with the skater. So they have access to all of their edited video content. Of course, my watermark is on it, so I still get credit. Even if they don't credit me on their social media platform, people still see the @Skate New England, and they can still find me. And so it's, even if they don't credit me, it's still promotional advertisement for myself. But they can download right off that drive and they can share it on their Instagram, their YouTube, their wherever they want to put it and use it as they see fit. But and one of the other things, I'm not very fast. right?
Whoa.
I'm not, this
Who
this
is?
is not, this is not a quick process, right? So I can't reasonably ask people for money for this and be like, look, you'll have your video in 3 months, you know?
Right. No way.
So, right.
No way. Oh, it's so funny, man. I don't know if you saw any of the episode with or the promo for Skaters R Us, those young guys down in Florida. But man, like that is the plight of anyone that ever has shot video of skaters on a consistent basis. There's a few things you always hear, which is basically like, yo, when are you gonna post that, dude? When are you gonna post it? Hey, can I get that? Can I get that? And they'll hit you up like you're walking out the door.
Yeah,
like
I'm on my way home.
And it's like, dude, like you have no idea how many like other things are. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, and you can't blame people. They don't know. You know what I mean?
I don't blame them a bit. They don't know. And in the same vein, I completely understand because if there's like a move that I've been workshopping, if I know, like I got lights on right now, I got lights on the subject of my videos when I'm recording them. When they see those lights on and they bust out something really extraordinary, they want to see it. They want to see what it looks like. So like, I'll be right there in the rink in the middle of the floor with them being like, yo, check this out. This is pretty cool, right? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, I'll get it to you as soon as I can.
Yeah.
What that means, I mean, you know, like today I'm driving from New York to Boston. That's 3 hours. I just spent 2 hours inside this rest stop here, just like uploading videos. I got a whole bunch of stuff put up on YouTube, and then I'm going to be in this podcast, and then I'm heading to Boston. I got to be there by 8. So I got another like 4 or 5 hours that I can just spend on videos. And that's my whole day today. So
is this your full-time gig now?
Man, I'm trying. Yeah, I would really, really like it to be. During the summer, I work at a garden center. I've been a woodworker. I've sold funerals and forklifts, and I've bartended and managed catering accounts, and I've been all over the place. I just picked up the marketing for my home rink, Happy Wheel Skate Center in Westbrook, Maine. Mm-hmm. Sorry for the plug, but
no.
Like I know you went there.
He's going to be on. Yeah, well, he's going to be on here soon.
Yeah, so, good.
Yeah,
so I've been doing a lot of the social media stuff for them as well, and like this kind of social media marketing thing. You know what? Being able to work remote to do something like this, like I'm sitting in my car right now, just off the highway, having a conversation with somebody, and doing marketing, and tonight I get to go roller skating. I went roller skated last night. I think that by the time I'm between the last time that I hadn't roller skated and the last time that I will roller skate this week, I think I'm going to be on like a 10-day stretch or something of just skating every single night. So that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it's awesome, you know. And my whole thing was, like I said, this whole thing kind of happened accidentally. What happens with it is what happens with it. First and foremost, I'm having fun doing it, you know.
Right.
But like my thing is that, you know, because you kind of get into a weird world when you start monetizing and stuff, and you know, people might have different kind of ideas about motives and all this kind of thing. And my whole thing is like, hey, look, no matter what, like Skate Like You is still going to remain for skaters. It's going to be a place where like, look, like, you know, like there are companies that private small businesses, but they're well known and they're trusted among the skate community, right? Like they're skaters doing excellent work for skaters, whether it's, you know, machining, whether it's manufacturing customized cushions or whatever. And that's always going to be a platform for them for free. I don't care. Right. Like that's I'm never going to change that. You know, and it's like you, if the platform, like Facebook, whatever it is, if like essentially the subscribers or the content or whatever justifies them monetize, like paying me just like, cause you don't even have to set it up, right? Like you just, you know, then so be it. That's kind of how I look at it. You know what I'm saying? I just having a good time. This thing, man, seems like, you know, people seem to like it. I like it. I love doing it. Right. It works for my ADD head. Like this is exactly, I need something different all the time, man. I need to be running and kind of like, I can't sit under fluorescent tubes in an office just doing the same thing. I did it for a long time, and God, that was miserable. So
man, I tried that road too, and I didn't like it. You know, corporate office management, all that sort of thing. I didn't love it. this one fits. Just like you were saying, I'm going into a line of merchandise, which I think the hoodie came out pretty good. I got T-shirts and sweatpants and all this other stuff that I'm building the web store for it right now. That's going to be another road to monetization. Again, the biggest thing is that I don't want to be a draw on the New England roller skating community.
Right. Like
that. I want to be a benefit to them. Really, I went to RATC. I mentioned it before. I'll say it again. That's a national skate party. There's national skate parties all over the place. And I'm a little bit more on the rhythm skating side. I come from a shuffle background. I went to RATC and I saw just the ability that the people at that rink had on that weekend, and it was incredible. Like the way that they could move and spin and turn when they're shoulder to shoulder with other skaters. It was just the wildest thing that I've ever seen. So I want to take that and I want to bring it to Boston. Because Boston, the environment at Chez Vu, which is one of my favorite rinks to go to,
it was amazing.
You went there. I mean, you felt it. You felt the energy in the room. And there's so much potential for New England because, we have this spread of rinks all within a couple hours of each other. To host a national skate party on the scale of RATC, maybe not all in the same building, maybe not all on the same day, but over several days, over several rinks, and bring everybody from all over the country together to witness what the New England skating community is all about. And that's something that nobody else is, I don't really see it. But actually, Boston Swerve is an outstanding community organization that has been working towards that for the past 10 years. Their 10th annual skate party, Swerve 10, is coming up in April. And I'm trying to promote that and get as many people on board as I can from, like I said, all over the country, and hopefully turn Swerve into that national skate party, bringing Skate New England along with it. But really, I'm trying to serve the community of New England whatever way I can. So that's why I'm traveling out to New York and meeting skaters there. I think I went to Connecticut to the Friday Glide before Summer Swerve 4 last month. I was able to bring some people up from Connecticut to see Chez Vu, bring people down from Chez Vu to see Connecticut, and just start getting the churn going, getting people visiting the different rinks like they do down south.
That's awesome, man. So Chez Vu, and we're gonna come back to all this. We're gonna back up here in a second. But when you mentioned Chez Vu, I absolutely loved the experience that I had there. And you've been to Roller Jam. You were at Roller Jam before.
Oh, yeah.
Now, to me, Chez Vu, okay. Now it's different. Nothing's ever going to be Roller Jam. I'm not saying that, but let me tell you, when it comes to its own vibe, right? Close, tight, bumping, drums,
loud,
funky, but when it comes to that thing, and not to mention every style seems like represented in the room.
Right.
It's the closest experience that I've had to go into Roller Jam, to be honest with you. I don't know if you agree with that, but Chez Vu is, I would say
Chez Vu probably has the best adult night in our region right now. And I have not been to Branch Brook yet, which I believe. Okay. So you had like Roller Jam, and then a couple, maybe an hour away, I think you have Branch Brook over in New Jersey. That both respectively have, from what I heard about Branch Brook, probably one of the best adult atmospheres in like the tri-state area. So Roller Jam, I went once, and it was my first time seeing slow walking. It was my first time at a roller skating rink that served alcohol. It was like my first time in an environment like that while roller skating, because again, I came from like the main, I mean, you hear like the music that we play, kind of the environment that it is very old school, right? It's old school.
It's everything. It's everything.
Right. So going to Roller Jam, it was like culture shock, like crazy. And then I went to RITC after that, and I started recognizing a lot of things that I saw up at Roller Jam. And I'm starting to understand like roller skate culture now, and like how all of it fits together. Chez Vu, absolutely every style is represented. You have people who are slow walking, you have people who are snapping and JB and rhythm skating, you got spins, you got backflips, you got speed skating. I mean, It is all over the place, and
Yep.
in a rink that is not huge.
It's got posts coming up. I ran into one. I literally ran into one during backward skate, man.
I try to dance with the posts, so I'll weave in between them and stuff. But what I really like about the posts is that it clears this big area right in the middle of the room.
Right. It does delineate.
But that area is for practice, and it's for footwork, and it's for like the Jersey Circle and like all of these different things, all these different moves that you can get a whole bunch of people together doing, and it's honestly great for video taking too, because you have this cordoned off area where people are singling themselves out and they're doing a specific dance or something, and you know that if you go to the middle, then you're going to see something really cool.
So, someone told me that used to be like a car dealership, like way back in the day.
I from what I heard, I believe it was a like a Model T factory. I mean, the rink has been there since 1939.
And here's what's crazy. I skated. I mean, now like you, most of my time skating as a kid in New England was Maine, but I did skate in Mass. Like I skated. There was literally everyone I've talked to so far. Well, in Drake, there was a place called White Wheels. Did you ever hear that?
No, I've never heard of that.
So I don't know when it went away or whatever. I mean, it was the last time I was there I was probably 12 or something. Okay. But other than that, it was Sk8L, stuff like that, like Tingsboro. My dad lived across the street, literally directly across the road from that place. They had just built like these few condos. Right across the street. And so like anytime we were at my dad's, we just dodge cars across that freeway. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but, so, okay. Now this is cool though, because this kind of this allows us to back up a little bit. Cause you said something though, you said, growing up skating in Maine, Chez Vu was like a culture shock, which to be honest with you, growing up skating in Maine, skating anywhere other than Maine is going to be a culture shock. Probably.
Great point.
Because, man, I can't think of a place that is more of an island in the U.S. when it comes to skating as far as style. And everybody is in Maine seems like their own island, too. I've never seen a more individualistic approach to skating as I saw growing up.
Right.
I used to think that was mainly because I lived in this very secluded small rink that just wasn't exposed to all these other rinks and stuff like that. And some of that's true, but as I continued to get older and venture out through Maine, I saw that to be true everywhere. Like it is so about the only, now this is me going back, to like, at the latest when I was like 19. So I'm in my 40s now. So, but like the most consistent thing I saw was probably like that rubber leg, rubber ankle style. Like that was other than that, man. And even that people were doing their own way. Right. And it was so crazy because Rob McGarrigle, who comes up to visit you guys, he starts posting these videos of his trips to New England. And I'm like, oh my God, man, this looks exactly like it did the last time I was skating in Maine down to the skates. That's the other thing. You'll never see a back break on a pair of quads until you go to Maine.
Oh, I know.
Everywhere else, it's the thing. The goal is to not have any brakes on your skates. Right. Like your wheels are your brakes.
That's where I'm at.
But New England, man, when I was coming up, like you see a cat with like a set of like most people had like a colored suede set of boots.
Yep.
Their tongue tied down. Yep. Real loose. Yep. And if they had a back break, it was like they were swagged out, dude. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, so that hasn't changed much. I mean, there's the younger generation, 15, 16 years old right now, even younger than that, the 12-year-olds and stuff. Like you go to the rink on a Saturday night, then you see a whole bunch of kids in there, children with suede boots and back breaks. Yeah. Like the style is perpetuating. I never got the back break.
Me either.
I grew up skating in Maine or down in southern Maine, like or Newington rather, or New Hampshire. Okay. So I grew up in Kittery. I was skating down at Roller Skate Newington, And we were speed skates, wide wheels, low cut boot. That was the whole style down there. I spent a very short amount of time skating up in Portland before I moved to Texas, and then I moved to New York.
Okay.
And then I kind of poofed out of the roller skate culture for a while. I only got back into it over the past year, maybe, and I still had my speed skates from high school that I've since renovated. And I wound up getting my own pair of, Rydell 120s that I picked up on Facebook. So I got a heeled boot. I got the plates that I saw down at RITC. So I kind of pulled my style from a couple different places.
Mm-hmm.
But I certainly saw the utility of the heeled boot and everything that they were doing. I still tie my tongues down. And so I mix and match. But just like you were saying, the individualistic style of everybody in Maine, I fall right into that. That's one of the beautiful things about it.
It's such a different world, man. I try to explain it to people, especially because it's the only place I ever skated. And then when I got back into it, I'm here in PA. And whether you're in central Pennsylvania, even out in Philly, even though those styles are very different, there is an emphasis on group synchronicity. You know what I mean? Whether it's fast backwards in Philly, whether it's old time shuffle in Lancaster or Lehigh Valley area, everything is very synchronized, right? They have skating clubs around here that go back years and years and years where everything's based on that. And so people were just I felt like a freak here. You know what I mean? Cause I you can feel eyes, you know what I mean? And people was what is that? What is going on there? And to me, it was I just was doing what I tried to emulate some people, my big brother mostly, but, it was different. And I'll be honest with you, man, I went from jumping back on skates and immediately, once I kind of got my rhythm again, just kind of just naturally doing that stuff to a point where, and then I started feeling, and most of it was my own stuff, but I started feeling this thing of I'm not in this club. And I started dialing back, kind of just me, and man, it stopped being fun real quick.
Yeah. So,
the last thing I was going to say about that was I had some really cool people that I had met, luckily by that time, that literally had come to me without me even mentioning anything, being dude, you need to, what's going on with you, man? Cause you're not the guy that showed up here 3 months ago. What's going on? And I'd be well, I just, and I would talk about this insecurity that I had, you know what I mean? And being dude, no, and it meant a lot to me, man. And then I remember we had an event in Philly, and I swear to God, I was like, man, I'm going to flex on everybody today. So I did. And I've been having a blast ever since. But what were you going to say?
Well, so I think that a lot of people have encountered that sort of, whenever there is a form of group synchronicity and you don't quite fit in, even Happy Wheels has its own shuffle. Shuffling, okay, so I learned something new the other day. Shuffling is a term that we use at Happy Wheels for what we do in a synchronized step, right? It's not as fast as the rest of the country shuffle. It's quick around the outside, and we do some steps that usually involve some sort of ankle or foot movement or something. Not so many spins like they do. I think does Philly do the spins in their shuffles, or is that more southern, east, southeast?
That's a kind of individualistic group style. Yeah.
Right. Down to one ranker.
But most of it is just straightforward.
Right. Shuffle. So down in Tennessee, they call that trucking.
So there's a okay. So trucking to me, okay. And that's what as you move south, right? It's funny. The further south you go, things get faster or slower depending upon the zip code that you're in. Okay.
Right.
Now, when it comes to that speed skate style, the stuff you're going to see at USA Shuffle events and all that kind of stuff,
right?
That is what most people would refer to as trucking, which is basically just a stride on beat. Right. There is no extra variation of a footwork pattern in there.
Right.
It's just striding on beat. And then, so I call that trucking. I think that shuffling has a little bit, there's
maybe a little bit more
like,
of a dance.
Yeah. It's just an extra, like, you know, stutter or whatever it is, but like, it's beyond just striding on beat. You know what I'm saying? Both are fun. You know what I mean? But anyway, what were you going to say?
Now, if you go to the Northwest, they call that rexing.
Rexing, I've not heard that.
Yeah. So, but I think in the Southeast, rexing means some sort of more of a dance, like a rhythmic dance, from what I understand. Or maybe that's the Southwest. The verbiage for what we call these things, I guess is my point, is it varies depending on where you go and who you talk to. So what we're calling shuffling, I feel is very unique to our region. I haven't seen a whole lot of shuffling like they do at Happy Wheels, or at Rollerdrome for that instance. You know, kind of in this region. The next closest rink south to Happy Wheels is Saugus.
Yep.
If you keep going in that area, Saugus, you go down to Roller Magic in Connecticut. You do Chevu, obviously, Tingsboro. Nobody is, that I've seen anyway, is shuffling. Like, there is not a tremendous shuffle culture. We're kind of in this, like, encased in this world of rhythm that sits out around us. And I found myself like really branching out into that and being like, geez, you know, like spinning and going backwards and working on my toes and all of this sort of thing. That's really fun. Like, it's kind of, so to your point, what you were saying earlier about having your own individualistic style and going into this world, I started in that world when I came back into skating, when I moved back from Texas. I got back into shuffling. I got the skates. I started shuffling with the boys and everything like that. I went to RATC and I saw this new style and I'm like, geez, that also looks like fun. So I started learning how to do that too. And as soon as I stopped shuffling, and for months, I was just standing in the middle, practicing going from back to forwards, left, right, just working on my transitions. And with that, I got more confident going backwards. And then I started putting some dance into it. And you see how I skate now. I'm just like, I'm spinning around all over the place and I'm having a great time. But I kind of abandoned my shuffle roots a little bit to practice that because I really want to learn how to do that. Yeah. And I can still shuffle. Like, I can still go back into it. I can still skate like that. When I want to. But it was also really important to me to be able to own the other parts of how I want to skate, just like you. And one of the things that I admire about your story is just the testament to roller skating culture, how you had other skaters who came up to you and say, hey, you're not skating like you anymore. Yeah. Like, what's going on with that? And for them to be able to notice that and feel comfortable coming up to you and saying, you know, like, is everything okay? I mean, I think that's really special.
Yeah, no, I 100%. I mean, there's been a few people, especially like, well, I mean, in PA and a couple people outside of PA, but there's like a few specific people, man, where I can like that experience. And then like a couple other things where I can say that I've met people and in a short amount of time established like solid connections with people that enough so that they could say and do things that like make a dramatic impact on my life, like in a big way. And I don't find that anywhere else. There was something that you were two things that you were mentioning. The one about this language, it's funny is that I think skating is also kind of like accents. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you could like I could go somewhere down south and be like, and just how they, or just see a skater from a certain area and be like, I know where they're from. Just like if I heard their accent kind of thing.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And the funny thing is that there are few I honestly think I can narrow it down to two terminologies that are probably fairly universal. And one of them wasn't at one point. When I came up, what I did and what like the people that I skated with did, that was considered like they referred to that as jam skating. Okay. So then, but now I think that terminology is definitely was adopted and kind of, or at least more accepted among basically the B-boys like doing their thing on skates.
Breakdancing on skates. Yeah.
Like, and I think pretty much universally we've got to a place where no matter where you're at, everyone agrees that that's what jam skating is. The other thing would be JB. Not completely. No, not completely, but more so than like shuffling, let's say. Shuffling has, like, depending on where you're at, could mean completely different things.
Right.
But,
there's places that would say that what you do is shuffling.
Yeah.
Right. But you're totally right. Jam skating is a prime example of the terminology being mixed because at one point before the breakdancing revolution on skates came in, that was all jam skating was, no question. And then they started calling the breakdancing part, all the floor work and the spins and everything else, they started calling that jam skating. And you're absolutely right. JB is JB, no matter what. However,
unless you go to Chicago where they're like, this is real JB. Because
that's where it was born.
Yeah, because maybe you can explain this to me, okay? Because so
I will try my best, but I am by no means like a cultural expert or a JB aficionado, but I'll try to explain what I've learned. Yes.
It's all good. So Lacey was on my first episode, and she's from Chicago. And I was kind of hopeful about this with her. So look, if she couldn't do it, then don't sweat it. But so we started talking about, like, her experience coming up in that area, skating that area, all that kind of stuff, and talking about JB. And my understanding of it was, clearly it comes from James Brown music.
Yep.
And that the footwork pattern is actually centered around, I think they said, the horns in the music or something like that. Like, but there is a specific thing based on the instrument or instruments in a song and a track and how they're played, to where, like, because they kind of float and they have one foot up and they're doing that, where that thing, like, so a legit Chicago JB skater will look and be like, that there's an actual thing that you're supposed to be doing at this point of a song or something like that. Do you know what I'm talking about, or no?
Yeah. So JB, I just did a JB workshop last night. Actually, that was part of one of my reasons for going out to New York. DJ Lemonade, who's one of my many favorite DJs up in this area. He grew up out in outside of Chicago. I don't know exactly where, but he's from that area. He learned how to JB out there, and he came back and he's teaching us how to do it. JB is a series of moves that you can link together into a routine. Okay. And depending on the song, you have different routines, which are just different series of linked together moves. Okay. I relate it to shuffling in the sense that you are stepping on the beat. Like, there is, if you watch closely, there is a certain step in the beat, but while we might count in a shuffle skating or rexing or trucking 1, 2, 3, 4, they're counting a lot of times on, like, the quarter or the half notes, 1 and 2 and 1 e and a 2 e and a. Like, they're really breaking it down, and the precision of some of the steps is really important. I got some feedback on my steps when I was doing the short step, that my toe was not pointed in the right direction when I was bringing it up the back of my leg into my knee.
Wow.
It was pointing down at the ground when it should have been pointing forward. And those are some of, like, the specifics. Like, if you really want to be a really good JB skater, you got to study it, and you got to practice it in tedium. Forever and ever and ever, over and over again. But it's really fascinating. It is inspired by not only the music of James Brown, but by the kicks. If you've ever seen any videos of James Brown performing, he was kicking all over the place, right?
Yeah.
Because he was feeling the music so much, and that's the most important part about JB, is that it's the feeling. It's not a rigid, structured move. It is. It's a whole body movement. Right, you're swerving on your base foot while you're kicking with the foot that's up. So there's the short step, there's the long step, the Godfather, there's the big wheel. There's all of these different moves that you're working with, 3, 4, 5 other people in synchronicity to be able to make this step. And I think it's fascinating, and there's so much of it that I don't know. This is the stuff that I've learned over the past couple of weeks. Again, JB has such an incredibly powerful culture behind it that I'm really not the one to be like teaching or talking about it too much.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the difficulty and everything that goes into it, though. I think it's really fascinating. So that's why I wanted to go all the way out to New York, the 5 hours from home, to say, okay, I want to learn more about how to do this specific type of skating, because there's just so much to it.
I think that the other there's a whole other aspect to this thing when it comes to James Brown and his cult and his music and how it impacts multiple aspects of culture. I mean, Clyde Stubblefield, the drummer for James Brown, is literally the backbeat of almost all hip hop created in the 90s. Literally, I mean, he literally is the uncredited drummer that is sampled over and over and over and over again. The fact that like a person or a band or like an instrument section, a drummer, because Clyde Stubblefield is like, when I wanted to drum and I wanted to DJ, like Clyde Stubblefield was like, I just was all about Clyde Stubblefield. One, I loved watching him drum, and I loved drums. And James Brown did something that, like, I looked at James, like, my whole thing was, it's funny when we talk about jam skating, right? And like, my brother was a b-boy. Like, my brother was like early b-boy, back
when b-boys were b-boying,
cardboard on the street, like cardboard on the street in Lowell. Okay, like, and that got me into that whole vibe and stuff. But like, when it came into like into skating, you know, when I first started seeing it, I just was like that's crazy, that's cool, but it was like that I still really enjoyed moving around the rink. And my whole thing was like, well, but what if we like were able to like up rock like while skating? Like, that was the whole thing, right? Like basically what do b-boys do before they, for those of you guys who don't know what I'm talking about, it's essentially the footwork that they do to transition into all that crazy stuff that you love. We call power moves, whether it's windmills or whatever, head spins and all that kind of stuff. So my whole thing was based around that, right? And the thing about like James Brown, when I would watch him dance too, and what you're talking about when you're talking about JB going on the quarter, like, I didn't just watch James Brown dance to a beat. I watched him dance to a tempo. I watched him dance to even like in a song like dun 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 dun. Right?
Yep.
That's not the beat. That's just an instrumental part of this song where it's
that's
like
the breakdown.
Right, a breakdown. And he dun, 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 dun. And so my thing was I want to skate like that. My brother used to say, whether people realize if they know what they're looking at or not, doesn't matter. He's like, but like, especially when hip hop happened big for us, and beyond just kind of like the nursery rhyme hip hop, when artists started like getting into like, you know, a lot of vocabulary and like and different rhythmic patterns of their lyrics, right? Where he was like, I want to skate, I want to lip sync with my feet.
Right.
Like, I want to come out of this beat and I want my footwork to match this. So if this guy, if his lyrics are like da 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 da, he wanted his feet to go da 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 da, and he'll come out on the downbeat.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And people, and like when you saw it, you're like, oh, I got what just happened there. It's called killing the beat. In breaking, it's what they call killing the beat. You know what I mean?
That's so cool.
That's what I respect JB about, because I see them using every part of a song, not just this downbeat, man.
Yeah,
every part of it, eating it up.
There's this lead up to when you start a routine. You'll see a lot of JB guys, like when there's a big group of them, you'll see one guy in the front count it off, right?
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Right.
That's what a lot of people miss when you're watching these guys go into a JB step. They're taking that 7 and 8 and they drag it. They drag the whole thing out. So when they start their step, they're crossing over and they're landing back on 1. But 7 and 8 is like this. It's like this comma. You know, they just like just a little bit like, hang on a second.
Yeah, but they know where they got to come out.
They step into 1, and that made it all make sense, because like I've sat there endlessly and just watched JB videos, and I'm like, how are they counting this? What are they do? What does any of this mean? you know, and it's just so hard to look at it and be like, oh, I know what that looks. I know what that is.
Right.
You know,
to interpret it is like, no way.
Right. And so it took me like, I mean, it's been weeks now, you know, not straight, but like intermittently, just like sitting with somebody who knows how to JB and say, okay, so how do you do this? What does that mean? How do you know when to come into a step? And I've got videos of it, of people saying right here. They'll just be skating around and be like right here, and then they'll all just step into a step at the same time. And I'm like, how do you know how to do that?
Right.
And so to your point, I mean, it's really skating or dancing to the entire song, not to one section, not to one beat, but to the music.
Yep, absolutely. Like my whole thing was and I think that's what I really am grateful about growing up in New England, skating Maine a ton as a kid, because you didn't have an option but to skate to everything. Okay, like my rink had, I mean, they played everything. Like it was like Young MC. And then Queen, and then and it was Paula Abdul, and then AC/DC, and then it was and I'm not talking about sets. I'm not talking about like a rock set, a hip hop set, an R&B set.
Whole song, stop. Whole song, stop.
Yeah, and but in that like complete like that like they weren't playing like 5G like R&B songs. Like it was and that's
they play.
I was saying to Rob when we were up there last time, I said, Rob, I said, I don't know if you noticed this, but check it out. When we go here tonight to Happy Wheels, they're not going to play some like radio edit. Like they're going to play a full album version of every song. Like they got the BMG like Studio Club CD, right? And I don't care if that song has 30 seconds of an intro. They're going to play that.
Yep.
And he's like, really? Is that? I'm like, I'm telling you, dude, this isn't like a DJ's edit. This isn't a redrum. This isn't anything cut. They're going to play a full song, and it'll even fade out completely. Like there's not many places do like mixing, right? I mean, how could you when you're playing everything that's so squirrely, right?
Yeah.
But and he was like, oh my God. So then I don't remember what songs they were that night at Happy Wheels. But he'd come up to me every once in a while and be like, because it would be some song that would have some weird echo chamber 35-second intro, you know what I mean? And he'd be like, dude, they're playing the full album cut of this song.
Relax is a classic one.
Exactly.
Like all 7 minutes and 39 seconds or whatever it is. Like we play the long version of Relax.
But Madonna's Like a Prayer.
Yes. Yeah,
that is 100% one of the ones they did that night, where it's just like this slow intro, and it was the whole thing. And it's so funny, man, because like it's that kind of stuff that never changed. It never changed,
and it's still. And so, how do you feel about that as somebody who skates and who gets around to see other rinks and like listens to different types of music? Where do you stand on that type of music environment? Because what I've found in my travels is that the single most divisive thing, the thing that nobody can agree on in skating is music.
So
it's like the biggest problem.
I got some thoughts about this. Okay,
hit me. What's up?
And I'll tell you what, man. Buckle up, people.
Yeah, we're not going to make any friends.
So no. But actually, it has a lot to do with something that you were talking about. But the first thing is how do I feel about that? One, that's how I came up, so I'm used to it. It doesn't really bother me. Two, without it, I wouldn't be able to be exposed to all this different stuff. I think that like it shaped me. It forced me to have to. It's the reason I think like I do. Like I'm not like I want to skate the tempo. I want to skate the lyrics. I want to skate the beat. Like it's what made that happen. I didn't have obvious drums hitting me over and over and over again for me to just too, right? I didn't have that. Like, so I like it. And it's different. It's different. Like I can dig it, right? And my number one rule is that if I'm going to your house, man, I'm eating what you're serving. Okay?
Yep.
And I came here for your thing. I'm not the one dude coming to your place with all your people saying, "Hey, switch it up. I'm here." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
that's fair.
That's pretty arrogant. So when it comes to the music thing, man, honestly, like I think that like and people aren't going to like this. Some people aren't. Okay. If it doesn't apply, let it fly, people. Okay. But so I think that it would probably be difficult if like you have an expectation and it literally, and the music that you're used to is literally like what formed how you skate, right? Like, and if the way you skate is how you like to skate and it's how you're used to skating, to go into another situation is probably like, I don't know what to do here. Now, people don't like to say, I don't know what to do here.
Yep.
They'd rather say, this sucks, right? So, and here's why. This is what I really, really believe. It requires practice. And people like to think that they're practicing when they're not. Practice is not fun. Practice is what you're doing when you don't know what you're doing. Practice means I am not 100% on point. I'm not 100% on beat. This isn't as fun as me looking good, knowing what I know how to do.
Practice looks stupid sometimes.
Practice sucks most of the time because it's you not being to be as cool as you normally feel, looking as good as you think you normally look, right? And look, and here's the thing. I'm not saying that like, oh, if you're not willing to learn something or if you're not willing to practice something different, like that I'm not taking anything away. Like, look, if you do a thing that brings you joy and you can do that thing consistently over time and it never loses that for you, and that's what you want to do, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not built that way, right? Like I get super bored. I have to figure something out different. So my whole world of skating, honestly, is like there's a thing that like I have a broad, like I have kind of like a broad like base style, right?
Yep.
And I like to trickle in new things, right? And just trickle it in. I just add a little thing, and maybe that might mean that I take a little part out or combine it with a part or something. But I trickle it in there. I practice it. I find where it fits best. I feel like, okay, I got it now. And I do it for a little while. I enjoy it. And then I'm on to the next thing, right? I have to do that. But so what do I really, really feel like when people complain most about music? Because they say, you can't skate to this music. And I say, well, no, a lot of people can. It sounds like you can't skate to this music. Or maybe you don't want to skate to this music. That's fine.
Which is fine.
But you can't say that nobody can skate to this music.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
People are.
Because people
They're
are.
right there.
You don't have to do it. That's fine. Right. But like I said, if I'm at your house, man, I came, you know what I mean? And look, you can decide I could go to your house for a year straight. And if you decide you want to rearrange the furniture, I better not wear a blindfold. You know what I mean? Like that's all there is to it, man. Like I got to accept what that is. Right. So like my thing is like with what Rob and I did, right? Like, I know, like, so when I go down to Florida, right, or I go down to USA, I'm going to be trucking, what I call trucking, right? Which is basically meaning I'm going to be huffing and puffing and just trying to keep up.
Right.
And that's fun. I enjoy doing it. Do I want to do it every time? No. Is there a time where maybe so it's on me to go and seek out and find what it is that moves. So maybe an event is not what I'm looking for. Maybe I just want to get in the car with this dude, head up to New England and skate a bunch of different rinks and go find what I want to find.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not on everyone else to make this thing for me. I got to go do that's. So anyway, I ranted enough.
Also, what are your thoughts on headphones?
On the floor?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know. I won't wear them.
No.
I don't. I have no thoughts on as far as like whether people should or not. It doesn't work for me, man.
Okay.
And it's probably just how I just not used to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That was just a question that I had because some people have like really specific thoughts about headphones, and then some people just don't have an opinion on them at all, which is cool.
It's funny. Have you ever been to one of those silent skates?
I'm going to one tonight.
It's weird. It's weird,
Yeah,
bro.
so Shavu's throwing a silent Halloween. There's three DJs, so you can pick between three different channels and tune into the music that you want to listen to. Which I'm sure are all going to be. I mean, I don't know. I haven't been to one before, but I'm really really excited to go to this one.
Just take the headphones off though and just sit and watch.
Listen to the wheels.
It's just the most awkward thing ever, bro. It's so weird. It's like, yo, this looks so weird, man.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's the most ridiculous thing you'll ever see. I probably wouldn't. I mean, I would, like, I've been to one. I didn't stick around. Like, it just wasn't. I don't know. I also, man. Oh, dude, let me tell you. So I went to this place the other night. Do you know who Nathan Edwards is? He's the guy that does like all people's wheels. And he does anything machined. Everyone sends their wheels to Nate. He was just on the podcast. He was,
okay.
But super, super, one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Amazing machinist. Love that guy to death. I didn't realize he was actually, like, Virginia is kind of funny because Virginia, but depending on where you are in Virginia, you could be like only 2.5, 3 hours from where I'm at, or you could be like 6, 7, 8 hours, right?
Right.
I thought he was like the further end. I didn't realize until I was talking to somebody else. And oh no, we're gonna go see Nate tomorrow night. I was like, oh sweet. So we go see Nate, right? Go to this rink Sunday night. Killer rink. Loved the rink. The floor was amazing.
Yeah. What rink?
I can't remember the name of it. It's in Manassas.
Great floor. We love it.
Fantastic floor. So it looks like a Chuck E. Cheese when you walk in, but it's
a lot of them do.
Yeah. So but the music was real, like they kept the volume down for some reason. Okay. Lower than I've ever been used to. I like to be enveloped. It's weird because even though I don't want to wear headphones, I want to be enveloped in music.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But it was tolerable. I could deal with it. But there was this dude with the little wheels, loud ass wheels, man.
Sliders, yeah.
Dude, and I could hear him from the other side of the rink over the music. And see, Dale, here's what I'm not good at, okay? I'm not good at, like, not having this just say exactly what I'm thinking without saying it.
Right.
There used to be a thing. I was an executive for years. And the people that worked with me closest it didn't take long for people to be like, Mark, we can no longer have like big meetings with all the staff. And why not? Because people ask questions and you can't prevent the face that you make when you don't think it's a very good question or something like that.
Mark.
So I'm always horrible at that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So I know this dude probably, like, as he would come by me, just saw me like, just
dead eyes, like,
oh my God, like, dude, like, I want to be like, yo, turn your wheels down, bro. Like, you're killing me. It messed me up the whole night. I'm sensitive to that kind of auditory type stuff.
Yeah.
Threw me off. But anyway, that was a sidebar. So look, so you're okay. Like, you're doing the Skate New England thing, and you're like, essentially, like, you're traveling, and it's all based on, I mean, of course it's based on your love for skating, and you're clearly somebody that likes to expose yourself to new and different things. But a lot of this it's a byproduct of Skate New England, right? You're doing it to move that vehicle.
Yes,
or
and
would
no.
you be doing it? Would you be doing it without Skate New England? Is what I'm saying.
I think that I wouldn't feel as comfortable doing it without Skate New England. Like right now, just from the thing that I've built, from the people that I like, the networking that I've done, I can walk into a skating rink and people recognize like the brand. You know, when I say, oh, like they see me with the camera and then they see the brand, they're like, I follow you on Instagram. And to go to a whole bunch of different rinks and just skate, I think I would have a hard time with that because again, like the music is so important. And for me to just go and enjoy myself for the entire session, yesterday's session was from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. And that's a lot of skating. right? I don't know if I could. Yeah, it's a lot. Like, I don't know if
that's
I
an
could
event.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if I could just go and jam for 6 hours, right? I don't know if I could just go and boogie and like do all that for 6 hours. But you know what I can do? I can go and skate and jam and boogie and everything for 3 hours, and I can take video for 3 hours.
Yeah.
You know, you're a victim of dopamine just like me, right? With the
Mm-hmm.
with the 80 combination of A's and D's that we both share.
Yep.
You know, the part of it that I'm getting from this is not just my love for skating being fulfilled, but also doing something that also kind of fills that cup. So I'm not only able to skate every day this week, I'm also able to shoot these videos and share them, and then get the additional dopamine from that.
Yeah.
Build a thing that people see the swag and they're like, oh, I love that sweatshirt. When's it going on sale? And I'm like, oh, thanks. Like I completely designed, this is all me. This is all a thing that I did. And I'm really proud of it. You know, so it's a tremendous pride piece. I've always wanted to build something, and I've tried a lot of times to build a thing. And for one reason or another, it sometimes just doesn't work. You know, like, I have to get too many other people involved. Maybe there's too many other factors. Maybe there's something that I can't understand that's just too complicated, and I'm like, shit. You know, like I'm back to doing, you know, something that I don't enjoy again. And this seems to be a thing that I understand all the corners and the edges of it, or I'm capable of learning I feel confident that I'm capable of learning all of the angles and edges of it, and I can build it. You know, and that's something that I can own completely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, because the other thing too is, like, when you talk about building things or trying to build things with other people, like, you know, obviously the more hands get involved, the less yours it becomes. You know what I mean? I love the fact that, like, one, this is like whatever it is that I'm doing, right? Because, like, look, I mean, it's not a secret. I don't know what I'm doing most of the time with this thing. I really don't. Like, it's fine. That's how it needs to be. But, like, it's what I want to do. Like, it's based around the thing that I like that I love the most, right?
Right.
And it seems like every aspect of it, like, I really, really enjoy. Like, I really, like, I like sitting, like, people talk about, oh, I got to go edit these videos. And I'm like, don't you love doing that? I love doing that. I love doing it. I
wish I didn't have to sleep. I wish I could just plug in and recharge. But like, I would be sitting in front of my computer, just being like, boop, 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 boop.
Yeah.
You know?
So, I mean, it's a thing that fits my personality really, really well in its 100 different forms, right? And that there's always something, like, and if there's 10 things to do, there's always 10 things to do. And depending upon where my headspace is, there are some days that, like, one of those 10 things or half of those 10 things do not look fun at all. Right. But these other things, I'm in the mood for that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. So it totally fits me. I love this because whether people know it or not, I like, and it's not that, I mean, like, trust me, I meant it when I say, and I do mean it when I say that, like, as far as the requirement to being on, like, this podcast with me is that you're just as passionate about this thing as I am. Right. But I will say, if I'm not interested in talking to you, you're not, you know what I mean? And that's not a knock to anybody. It's just that this won't be good if that's the case.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I kind of run into the same thing, and I feel kind of terrible about it, because my mission is to represent the roller skaters of New England and to bring notoriety to them. There's skaters out there, especially in the South, who have sponsorships from major brands. They have they have hundreds of thousands of followers. They are nationally recognizable. And we have skaters here that are just as talented, that are just not, if not more talented, personable, friendly. I mean, incredible people who are rocking the gear, and they're paying for it out of their own pocket. And there's nobody up here who's capturing them and putting them in the light and saying, like, hey, Rydell, hey, Vanilla, hey, you know, like, large roller skating brand, look at this skater who really is deserving in every aspect of your promotion. And there's other skaters who are extremely talented that, unfortunately, because I don't enjoy seeing maybe that style, or there's something about it that I'm just like, I don't really want to capture that. I feel like they're underrepresented on my page, if not represented at all. And I feel badly about it because, again, I'm trying to get the skaters of New England. It's a very large amount of people, but you'll see a lot of familiar faces on my page over and over again. And I feel bad about picking favorites, but again, like, those are also the skaters who are kind of like getting the most views, right? Which is like my mission, my goal. Part of it is to build the page, right? So some of what I have to do is pick and choose and find the ones who are going to get the most viewership, so I can build the page, so I can promote the skaters, so I can talk about New England.
Yeah, I mean, look,
it all has to work together.
Yeah, Horace Grant doesn't make that much money if Jordan isn't Jordan. Right? Like, his contract's better because he's on the team with Jordan, right? That's all there is to it. Like, and it's not to say that Jordan isn't a great player. It's not that that his role isn't important, right? And yes, people, I know how old I am, going back to like the 90s Bulls to make a reference here, okay? But, whoever Steph Curry plays with, okay? Fine, that guy. Right?
Yeah,
whatever, dude.
I don't watch a lot of baseball.
Little Bronny isn't getting, you know what I mean? Like, without Big Bronny, okay?
Right.
But yeah, look, so I mean, and the reality is that, whatever those eye catchers are, right? They're also going to be the people that are able to feed this thing to where, that the other people can be represented just as much and just as visible, because without that, it's not going to happen. It's a weird thing. And my thing is, look, like, as long as like, if your heart's in the right place, you know what I mean? Because look, things are either going to work or they're not. And who's to say what's working and what's not working, and what's accomplishment versus, you know what I mean? And all that kind of stuff. So my whole thing is like, Ray does this thing, if you know what Big Daddy Ray is, but like, his whole philosophy, and look, and he's one of the first like kind of big like influencers as far as like, viewership and stuff like that when it comes to skating. And his whole thing was like, I just want to put people on that it's not about who's the best. It's just like, basically, like, he could take a bunch of video one night and there could be like some amazing skaters on there. But there are sometimes, and I've seen him do it, where he'll bypass all of them because there was this one person that didn't even come close to, if you looked at like talent, like, or ability, not talent, but ability.
Right.
But the smile on their face,
the joy,
right? The joy,
yep.
Took precedent, and that's what he did. And that's fine. Like, that's cool too, right? It seems to be working, The other thing is like, sometimes I think I know, like, oh man, this thing, like, this video is sick. Like, this, oh my God, people are going to gobble this up and blah, blah, blah. And I put it out there. It's like crickets. It's like crickets. Yeah. And I want to be like, don't you know what you're seeing here? Like, this is amazing. And I think some of it is, that's the problem. Some of it is so, like, if you know what you're looking at, you can identify it. But the masses, they don't know. They can't look at the idiosyncrasies of this.
Sometimes it is just so hard to conceptualize what you're looking at. And I'm going to go back and cite JB.
Exactly.
Like, there's some absolutely outstandingly complicated things that are happening on your screen. But if you don't know what you're looking at a whole bunch of dudes kicking, and you don't know how to put it into like rhythmic complexity and like just see it for the outstanding feat that it is. And yeah, I think I read into that. Like, there's this guy that I skate with. His name's Will. He's on Instagram as Hokage Duco, I believe. I put up a highlight video of him on my page. He's dressed all in white skates, pink wheels. And his ability to control momentum and turn forward momentum into a spin or stop, the ability to control himself on his toes or his heels is absolutely incredible. It is unreal. And I'm trying to take as many notes from him as I can before he moves back to North Carolina next week. And I put up a video of him, and it performed really well, because anybody who looks at it can see like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I would love to see that video get 1.4 million views.
Right. What you think it deserves?
Good. Yeah. Because it's that good. Right. My page isn't big enough for that yet, but I also have a whole bunch of video that I haven't posted on Instagram yet too. So You know?
There's a guy around here, and I've mentioned his name a few times on here. And I first off, the dude is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, legitimately. But his name's Pete Trafka. Okay.
Okay.
And he's like a central PA kind of flea hop. I don't know if you've ever heard flea hop, but like it's like that's like the style that's like very much rooted in Oregon skating shuffle music.
Okay.
In like this in this area of Pennsylvania and surrounding. And he was kind of brought up in that thing. But you know, people hear me repeat this over and over and over again. What I love about Pete is the thing that when I really, really love a skater or appreciate what they're doing, it's because even if they're rooted in a certain type of style and it's very obvious, he brings his own thing, right? Like It's like undeniably this dude, right?
Yes.
This guy, there's this one video somebody took. I don't know how people don't see what they're looking at because he's defying physics, right? Like, and it's at this rink. It's called Overlook in Lancaster. And it's unfortunate because it's one of the most beautiful, beautiful like arenas you'll ever see. But it's like owned by the township, and it's not a rink. They do skating there sometimes.
I see.
Okay,
yeah, it's a community center, event center,
municipal
or something
facility.
Like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So, but they have like an organ thing there sometimes, and here's Pete out there with all these organ cats. Somebody's just random video from behind. And, you know, and like people are just kind of like,
yeah,
it's pretty stiff, right?
Right.
and now it's also the contrast of him in the midst of these people too. But even if you took them all away, it's still amazing. And what this guy is doing, where all of his momentum and even his head, right? Because your body goes where your head is focused, right? Where your eyes are.
Right.
All of his momentum is moving him in this direction. I'm not saying this is exactly what it is verbatim.
Right.
This is the principle.
Yep.
And he moves this way in the smoothest, most unobvious, doesn't make sense, still looks amazing. Doesn't look like he just looked like randomly, right? And I've even to the point where I think that people that have skated with him forever don't even they're just so used to it, right? They don't even really see, you know what I mean? And I am just like, what don't you get? Like what he's doing shouldn't happen like on Earth with our gravitational rotation. And like I'm like, what don't you get, man? This is amazing, dude. I'll send you that video at some point, man.
Yeah, I'll shoot you the one of Will too.
Oh.
You know, but that's the kind of stuff that I see that and I'm like, I want to learn that. And I go right back into practicing. And when people at my rink, so when I came back from RITC and I started,
I was hoping you're going to get into this because this is what I wanted to ask about the practice thing. I bet there was a lot of times you went and it wasn't that fun for you.
Oh no, it wasn't. It was like people saw me as a skater before I left, and I was able to shuffle, and they're like, Dale, you're such a good skater, right? Oh wow, I love watching you skate,
right? And
then I got the new skates, and I got the new wheels, and I got the new plates, and I got like this whole new setup. And I was standing on the yellow line in the middle of the rink, just turning left.
You're a new guy again.
Brand new. And people would watch, like, I would just be doing that. Everybody's skating around like they normally would. And they're like, Dale, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just practicing. I want to practice my transitions. I want to get better going backwards. I'm just practicing. And this is like Tuesday night, right? Like this is when you're supposed to show up and show out and like have a good time and and I'm in the middle. I'm just turning left. Turn right, spinning over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in March. Okay. By May, June, maybe I'm dancing. I'm turning those spins into rhythmic bounce and like, it's rough, right? It's not polished. It doesn't look that great. Turn that into last night. However many months that is later. Right. And I am doing full 360s. I got 2 cones out in the middle of the floor, and me and Will and a couple other people are doing figure eights, and we're just dancing in a figure eight pattern between these cones and spinning. And it doesn't when you're practicing it, it doesn't look good.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, the reactions that I get from my community, the people that I skate with every day, from where I was when they saw me practicing back in March to where I am now, they're like, how did you do it? And I'm like, just repetition. Like, put your skates on as often as you can. Wear them whenever you can. And slow down. The biggest thing that I could tell anybody who's trying to practice something is slow down. And it's going to be so much harder because you don't have momentum working with you. But if you slow it down, you're going to learn so much more.
Well, it's so funny too, because you say, you talk to these people, and these are all people that you've skated with for a period of time, or that have been skating for a while. They say, how do you do it? And you say, because it's like, well, it's been that long since you didn't know how to skate, huh? Like, because that's like, I'm going to do what you did when you first came to the rink. Right. And I think that's the thing that people don't, because look, you kind of said it too. Like, you were used to, you had like this identity as a skater, as a polished skater. Right. So when we're real honest about ourselves, because that's one of the things that sucks most about practice.
You're admitting that you're not.
My ego, my ego takes a hit, right? Because now I'm not the guy that those people came up to that never come to the rink and are like, oh my God, like, you're such an amazing skater. I'm not that anymore. Right. And my ego kind of takes a little bit of a, like, I want to be that guy again. You know what I mean? I better go do what I'm good at. You know what I'm saying?
So there's two different things you can do though. Like, at one point I stalled, like I was doing this transition, this rotate back and forth. And I'm just like, ooh, I got this dance thing that I'm doing. I did that for like probably 5-6 weeks. And I'm like, hang on a second. I haven't done anything new since that. Like, I haven't really, like, I got this transition thing and now I'm just the guy who spins around a lot. Like, I haven't really done anything else with it. Like, I still can't transition on my toes. Like, I can't go backwards on my toes. Like, toe manuals are still tough for me. I haven't been able to do 3 laps consistently on my toes. That's a goal that I have. So, like, that's a thing that I practice towards. So yeah, like you can go and you can be like the super polished skater, and then you can learn a new thing, and then you can plateau. And it is it is a willpower of like, I want to do something different. I want to do something new. And a big part of that is immersing yourself around other people who are doing different things, which is one of the reasons I love going to Cebu. Going back to Cebu, I mean, what do you want to learn? Approach anybody, ask any question you want, and somebody's going to be there to teach you. They're going to say, here's a tip, here's a trick, here's a thing that I try. And it's just one of the friendliest places in a notoriously not so friendly area, which is kind of ironic.
I remember that neighborhood, man. And that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But what a wonderful job they've done of making a place that makes you feel so welcome when you walk in the door. So I cannot say enough good things about it, but that is the harsh reality about learning something new, is that you're going to have to take that hit to your ego. But like, I've really learned to accept that hit and almost to brag about that hit and promote that hit to anybody who's trying to learn something new. Like, look, like, falling's part of the game. Every single time you fall, you should be walking away with a lesson. Like, hey, how did that happen? How did that fall happen? What am I going to be learning about these edges? What am I going to be learning about this next process in learning this new thing? And to really like embrace that learning, because everybody who has ever put wheels on their feet had to learn.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? So even if you're the best skater or if you're just starting out, you're going to have to learn at some point. You're going to have to learn something new. And if you're the best skater and you're unwilling to learn something new, then maybe you're not really the best.
Well, and like I said, I look at it like, if because there are some people, man, that I do know, like, that I know of they just enjoy what they do. And if that brings you joy, then fantastic. Yeah. Like there's nothing wrong with that. Like, because I don't want it to come across like I'm saying like, oh, like, so but if like, you know, you don't feel that plateau and that doesn't bother you, then you're not, you know, ambitious or anything like that.
You're totally right. You're totally right about that.
Because yeah,
I guess what I
get what you're saying, because I'm 100% with you on that, and I know you don't look at it like that. I absolutely do.
Yeah,
like,
but it's going into somebody else's house, I guess, right?
Yes,
and skating like you skate and saying, well, I'm the best, and like looking around the room and it's like no, like everybody is the best at what they're doing, and you're still the best at what you're doing. But I mean, if you really want to go to a place and talk to the people in that rink and say like, hey, teach me something new, and go out and learn something new. Like, to me, anyway, in my opinion, we're allowed to have one, right? Yeah. In my opinion, that is how you become the best skater, is by going out and seeing new people and talking to new people and like, teach me something. Like, always be open to learning.
Yeah, at the very least, be like, at the very least, be the most exposed skater. Right. You know what I mean? To like, you know, because like it's kind of like the thing, like when like we go down south or whatever, right? Like where I'm like this is going to be different, and this is your like, but I want to do what you're doing here. I want to like I want to get involved in this thing. I want to be a part of this thing. I want to be able to say like, hey, I experienced that, right? Like, so, you know, and it's not going to be like the smoothest thing initially or whatever, right? But but I enjoy that. I absolutely do. And it might not be the thing that like I walk away and I say, okay, that's all I want to do now. But I'm gonna, man, the way I look at it is like this, okay? Because I used to get really bummed about how long I was away from skating, right? Like, and like all this time I missed.
Oh,
right?
What did I miss? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I started flipping it not because like I was like, I didn't like listen to some Tony Robbins tape and all of a sudden, you know, have some positive mindset. It just was literally the experiences I was having. It told me something real like, and I realized, man, there's a certain aspect of this that's awesome for me, because now, even like at 43, there are all these firsts that I still get to have, that if I had been doing this for the last 20 years, I probably would have already done them. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I have so many things that I still get to do now at this age. It's so exciting. Like, there are going to be a bunch of firsts. I have multiple firsts coming up in the next couple, before the end of this year. I have multiple firsts that are going to happen. And I can't think of anything better.
And would you be able to appreciate them as much then as you do now?
No.
Right, like this is the best time. This is the best time. Like, I'm in my mid-30s. Like, this is the best time to be doing this.
Yeah, right? As soon as you're an adult, as soon as you're adult enough to realize how much life sucks, that's when you can. That's when you can appreciate. Once you pay enough taxes, right?
Yeah. You're like, you know what? I just gotta skate more. That'll make everything better.
Yeah. It's seriously, man. Once you pay enough taxes in life, man, all of a sudden everything tastes. Dude, I tell you what, man, the berry tastes a little sweeter.
That's sure all there is
to it.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. I definitely would not be able to appreciate it. And because it's not all, you know, rainbows and roses, I will say that there is, at 43, there is an anxiety though that hits me now. And not because I feel it a ton, but I can't think I'm that far away from starting to feel what it feels like to be a little bit older, right? Like, and how much time do I have to do this at like a high level, right? Because as much like, so the other, here's where the one thing is where, like, let's say, because I know people and they just enjoy going to the rink and doing their thing. And that's what they love it. They'll do it forever. The same thing. They love it. And here's where here's where my personality is going to challenge me, which is that I know myself. Okay. And I know that when I start to feel myself slip and not as capable to do the things that I love to do at a high level, I'm not going to enjoy it as much. I know I won't. I won't. I fractured my ankle checking the mail a few months back.
Jesus. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, right. Well, checking the mail, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Whole family's like, oh, you're in your 40s, Mark. You better be careful when you're skating. Da, 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 da. I checked the mail, and anyway. So I went into an urgent care because it happened at night, and I didn't want to wait in an ER, and they take an X-ray. They're like, nah, it's just probably really badly sprained. We don't see a break. Thing that was like softball size. So they're like, well, but follow up with your primary in like a week. So I was like, all right. So I couldn't get into my primary for a week and a half. The very next week, though, but 7 days, and I'd been it feeling okay. Now the other thing was I was the first USA Shuffle event was coming up that I was ever going to go to, and I was bummed, bro. I was so bummed.
Right. Oh, super bummed. Yeah.
So, but it's a week later. A couple more days, I'm going to check my primary. They said it's just a sprain. So I'm like, now I want to go check. I want to kind of feel, because I'm able to walk. You know what I mean? Like it's not as bad as it was, kind of thing. I want to go. I want to test this out. Ray was telling me like this one DJ around here, DJ Phil. He was DJing this particular skate at this rink in Jersey. I don't remember the name of it. Place I'd never been before. I was like, hell yeah, I'm in. I'll drive. Go pick up Ray. This is like 3 hours from me. Okay. Pick up Ray, pick up Erica, take them there. Put my skates on. I didn't make like 2 laps, bro. And I was like, oh, this is bad. Like, this is bad. Like, I could tell, like, this is not, and it just so happened that I had to probably fire those muscles or whatever, that part of my leg.
Oh yeah. You just put them everything, all that pressure is at a different angle when you're skating. Yeah.
Right. So then so now I'm feeling what's really going on. Okay. And like I said, I didn't make 2 laps, man.
Yeah.
And it was like, I can't. If there's a chance I'm going to make USA Shuffle, it's not going to happen when I'm out here doing more damage.
Right.
So I go, take my skates off, and I'm telling you, man, you would have thought somebody just shot my puppy. Okay. Like, it was bad. Right. Oh. I'm like, I'm so bad. I'm so upset. Now here's where it gets, because I'm a prick. Okay. And like,
okay.
and I'm sitting there, I take my skates off, and now I'm just sitting there. Cause like, look, I drove.
Yeah.
Right. So like, I'm not going to tell these cats like, oh, hey,
we got to go.
Let's go.
Sorry.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm like, all right, I'm going to, I'll suffer through this for them. Right. I made it about not even 10 minutes sitting there. I'm sitting there, and then like, I think like Walk This Way, like Run D, because it was like an 80s night, Run DMC, Aerosmith.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I love skating to that song. Drums are perfect. And I'm watching, and within like 13 seconds, I am pissed off at everybody else in that rink. At that moment, I'm like, you don't even know how to skate to this shit. Oh my God. This is killing me. I can't. I went and sat in my truck.
Yeah.
For like 3 hours, dude.
Yeah.
Because I could not sit there and watch. Like, I couldn't even like be like, oh, well, everyone else is having fun. Let me just embrace the fact that all my fellow skate fam are having this amazing night. And I was like, yeah, man, like I was, wow. So when I say I'm a prick,
right.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, and so anyway, long story short, or short story long, that's how I know that it's going to be really tough for me to embrace.
So that's where I'm trying to figure out how I can stay involved in this community after I, like in the next 20, 30 years, like how am I going to age beyond this? And, part of that might be marketing. These videos could take me a long way. There's a good chance that within the next 30 years, I'm going to accumulate enough video that's going to keep me busy for the next 60 years. Who knows? Right. I'd like to build this into something that becomes more than just me roller skating behind people and taking video. I would like to turn this into an organization, a community service, an event. Skate New England, I would love at some point to figure out a way that it can not only benefit my community, but also keep me busy enough and afford me a living that I can do this full time and I don't have to so much rely on myself skating at the rink, but I can still be there. There's plenty of times where I'll sit down and I'll hang out with the DJ. I would love to just be in the rink with my laptop, like processing videos and putting them online. I want to be involved with the rink and the culture, and then trust me, I know what you're saying. I know how good it is to be out there, but I like the reality of aging is that eventually it's got to stop. And the thing that we love to do most is like a physical activity that sometimes you get old. So, you know what? One thing that kind of brings me a little bit of peace is that my mom is in her 70s and she still comes to the rink every Tuesday.
Wow.
She doesn't skate as fast as I do. She doesn't do as much spins. She's a lot more careful, but she's still doing the thing that she loves. My grandmother was a roller skater. My grandfather was before he passed away. My grandfather actually met at the rink.
Oh,
After
wow.
my grandfather passed away, her second husband also met at the rink.
Yeah.
I'm third generation in this thing.
Wow. Because we never got into that at all.
Yeah,
we didn't get into how you got started.
Well, that's the beginning. I didn't even realize that I was third generation when I first started roller skating.
Huh.
After my grandfather passed away, the roller skating community down at what was in the area of Roller Skate Newington, where I first started skating, they raised my mom and her sisters and her brother. They helped my grandmother through that time. She wound up meeting her second husband, and he's still alive. He's not skating anymore. Mom's still skating. I don't know if the rest of her family still skates, but they've all said that they love my videos. They love seeing me skate. Wow. They love seeing how, because it brings them back. And that's what so much of, like, you look at the Facebook audience and like the demographic of Facebook, that's what so many of the Facebook audience members who tune in to see roller skating content say, and that's why they love watching Happy Wheels and Rollerdrome and the northern rinks, because that is how they used to skate. That's what I mean by old fashioned. They can really relate to it, and they love seeing it. I know.
That was the first thing that when Rob started going up there and I started seeing those videos, and then I started seeing Fernando's videos.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Fernando.
It just was, it felt so good. Because to be honest with you, what was crazy about it was I saw Rob's video. I knew that the one Happy Wheel shut down. Yeah. I didn't know that they were all gone. And so he's on that floor. And I didn't see a video, like the video that I was watching, it didn't have the lobby or anything. Like it didn't see any of that. I just saw like the wall that was painted exactly like the Happy Wheels I skated at, the logo to a T, right?
It is bizarre, right? It is bizarre how
floor. Right.
Yeah.
It's like I drove a DeLorean.
So if you don't know this already, like not only did they rebuild the Happy Wheels almost the exact same way, it's only about 20 feet longer, and that 20 feet is storage and office space out back. It is flipped. So it's like a Bizarro Happy Wheels. Concessions used to be over on the left side, but it's over on the right.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit Bizarro, but all of the woodworking, the sound equipment, the gondolas, the concessions tables, the concessions equipment, the countertops, everything is original from the old building.
He was showing me like all the kickboard, like along the wall.
That is all from the old building. So he bought it all. He got all the old stuff and he rebuilt the same rink with a new floor, super level concrete. He does the epoxy work on the floor himself. He laid the carpet himself. The community came together. They were hanging sheetrock and drywall and plywood, painting, like the community of Happy Wheels built that rink.
Well, I'm watching this video Rob put up, and it's just the floor, right? And I'm like, oh my God, I used to skate that place. Like, I didn't even. And he's like, no, not this place.
Did you?
And I was like, oh my God, man.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. Was I talking to you? I don't know who I was talking to, but somebody up there when I was up there with Rob, and I said, man, I'm like, I bet there's probably a community up there, right? That because it seems like the timing couldn't have been more perfect for like a certain generation to see that come back. They must have been like, they must be so grateful to have this replicated aspect of their childhood, of their adolescence, whatever, right? Or maybe even some of their adulthood, right? Like depending on their age, just reemerge and literally, here's the one thing I will say. I don't care who's shooting the video, and I don't care who they're shooting. I see more people smiling in those videos out there, man.
Yeah.
Like, it is so crazy. You could feel how much fun people are having, and there's recognizable people all the time. So there is definitely a community that's happened and reemerged and came back out and totally embraced this thing that they probably were like, oh my God, this is amazing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I would say that the people that frequent that place, that regular basis.
Pause one sec.
Yeah, of course.
All right, sorry about that.
No worries. So the people that have embraced that, the people that you see in those videos every single week, the people that you see smiling at the rink, like that Tuesday night adult night that you came to, that night is built for them. You know, that's their music. That's what they've been skating to forever. That's what they like to hear when they show up on a Tuesday. You know, that's their adult night. There is another set of people who kind of want to see something new. You know, they want to see different music. They want to see maybe a live DJ, that sort of thing. So instead of changing Tuesday, instead of alienating these people that who literally built this rink with their hands, they came in and built the place, right? So that Tuesday belongs to them. I've been working with Derek on trying to build an additional adult night, like a Saturday night late skate with a live DJ to kind of cater to that other half of people who are just like, maybe the vibe isn't right, the music isn't what they're looking for, whatever it is, to try and just boost that some more and welcome in another group of people who can build foundational memories there. Because I think
you're
that's
also. Oh no, keep going. Sorry.
I think that's what a lot of rinks run into, is like trying to figure out what their adult night should look like, what group they should cater to. When like there is kind of an option depending on how the rink operates. Obviously, it's an operator, employees, like there's a whole business aspect to that. But from an adult skater's standpoint, like, wouldn't it be nice to be able to choose between a couple different like skating options from the same, especially if your rink choices are limited in your locality? Like, geez, I can go to this one place, but it seems like there's this regular group that listens to the same music all the time. Don't change it. Let them have it. Make another night. And Derek is really receptive to that.
Yeah. And you're also, though, some of the conversation at Rollerdrome at the end of the night, because you're also looking to bring an event or get an event going on up there, right? Let's talk about that. That'd be like kind of the last thing we talk about here. But
yeah, of course.
So yeah, what's going on with that?
So I think Derek is really excited to host a USA Shuffle Skate event. I would love that. I think that would be really cool. Same thing, kind of a Saturday night, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. And not only do it at Happy Wheels, but also bring it up to Rollerdrome as well, and maybe do like a weekend Friday night warm up at Rollerdrome, Saturday night all skate at Saturday night shuffle skate at Happy Wheels.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. I definitely want to do that. I'm working on a second event, which would probably take place in the same time slot, not on the same weekend, you know, not the same group, but a second event, which is the Boston Swerve, like rhythm party. So like a rhythm takeover of Happy Wheels, inviting everybody up from Boston, putting us on the map, because Derek, who is also the owner of Chez Vu, two different Dereks, spelt differently, both own skating rinks. So there's Derek up at Happy Wheels, Derek at Chez Vu. Derek at Chez Vu is on board. He wants to add Happy Wheels to his rotation of roller skating rinks that he throws events at. And calling out to Portland and our local community, like when Happy Wheels first opened, it was insanely busy.
I'm sure.
So busy. And it has dialed back. I mean, there's like that honeymoon phase when a rink first opens where everybody and their mother's out skating, like, which is awesome. But you know what? There was enough people there where there's a whole group of people that didn't just move. They're just not skating right now, right? And how can we call them back in? How can we say like, hey, like this is how you know skating in Maine. Like, why don't we bring skating from Boston up and show you what that looks like? Like maybe we can re-energize some of those people to keep coming back to the rink if they see another type of skating. And with that, we bring the skaters. We say, hey, we're throwing this event. We bring super talented skaters up. We bring the people in from Portland, and we say, look what skating can look like. And my hope is that that'll create a call for like a monthly rhythm night. You know, and so those are the two different events. There's the USA Shuffle, which is like a super recognizable nationwide brand that we want to invite up and have a big shuffle party. And on a separate weekend, we also want to do a rhythm takeover and hopefully start a rhythm night.
Because I think that Derek, Happy Wheels Derek F.
Yep.
I think he knows Jeff Cooey pretty well too.
He does. Yeah. No, Derek's on part of the RSA. We're actually going out to a section meeting together in New York next week, where we're going to do a whole bunch of rink tours and meet a whole bunch of people. But Derek has been in the roller skating game, in the shuffle scene and everything for a long time, a long time.
Yeah, I mean, like, no, he knows, especially when it comes to Maine. I mean, like, he's like pretty close knit with the family that owned the rink I grew up in. Like my my sister used to babysit like the Dyer's kids, and and
Derek has dinner with the Dyers all the time.
Yeah, that was like my second family. I mean, like I grew up with those guys, man. Like Bob Dyer, like was. I mean, that's where we lived. We lived at that at that rink, man.
Right.
So it was just. I mean, he's an encyclopedia of knowledge, no matter what.
Big time.
But like when you could sit there and just talk about like the little idiosyncrasies of like this little place that you grew up in 20, 30 years ago, I don't know. It was really cool talk. We spent a little while talking after. I can't wait to get him on here. I literally just talked to him again. He was saying about the thing that's coming up, and that he's going to be on the road for like the next week or something like that.
Yeah, no, it's a solid couple days that we're going to be on the road, but we're also going to see a whole bunch of rinks. Here's some good talk. So, you know, part of my social media marketing responsibilities is going to be going to these sorts of events with Derek, hearing what the RSA has to say. There's a speaker that goes to these who's bolstered his business's social media presence really, really well. So I expect to learn a lot of things from going out to something like this. So it's a really cool opportunity that I've been given to be able to work with Derek like this.
That's awesome.
And in that, I'm hoping that Roller Skate New England, again, like as a brand, can help bring these events. It's not just benefiting the skaters; it's benefiting the rinks. It's benefiting the roller skate culture, right? That's one of the things that I'm doing. So video tutorials, working with Connie Stowers. We actually shot our first video at Happy Wheels. So her 87,000 followers who are going to be seeing this video footage are also going to be seeing Happy Wheels represented. You know, we want to do the same. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Keep going.
We want to do the same thing at Chez Vous, and see how many different rinks that we can walk into and shoot video tutorials there. And it's getting, you know, these rinks in front of 80,000 more people.
Yeah.
You know, so that's part of the mission of Roller Skate New England as well, is to expose the skaters, the rinks, the culture, everything that we can to say, like, come skate with us.
Yeah. Yeah. I think she was the one, I think you were, last time we talked, you were like, you got to get, is she the real skate?
The real skater. Yeah.
You were like,
you should definitely get her on the pod.
Yeah. You were telling me about that. I gotta link up with her.
Yep.
Get her on here.
Yep. I'll mention it to her too. I think I'm going to see her tonight at Silent Halloween. So.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So what's okay. So you're going to be in New York. Like what part of New York?
Well, I was just in New York. I was up at Ackerd at Skate Time.
Okay.
So that's up in the Catskills. It's just, the rink is super cool. It's not huge, but it's big enough. I mean, it's a good size. It's got a beautiful wooden floor. The inside of it looks it's hard to describe because it's bright colors and everything, but there's the neon tube that just like lines everything. They got the neon signs on the walls. It's just a really nice building. It's really well put together. The sound system's good. The DJ last night, DJ Lemonade, was amazing.
I've seen him on your stuff before.
Yeah. I mean, it was a JB night, so he was playing JB all night. They started off with a JB workshop, so I got to go and do that. And like I said, it ran from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. So 4 to 5 was the JB workshop, 5 to 10 was the session. Skated the whole time. I got a bunch of footage that I'm going to be working on probably once I land in Boston. I'm headed to Boston tonight. The night before last, I stopped at Saugus on my way out to New York, and I skated Saugus. So it was Saugus out to New York. I'm going back to Boston, and I'm debating on whether or not I want to go down and do the Monday night adult night down in Connecticut at Waterbury Roller Magic, because that's a beautiful rotunda floor. All of the boards around the turns. If people aren't familiar with a rotunda, all of the boards around the turns are curved, so you can't actually feel any grain change as you go around the outside of the rink. Again, just the coolest vibe inside. It's got a massive parking lot that's hardly ever full. Like this is New England. Like come skate at Roller Magic in Waterbury. Go skate at Skate Time. Like go skate at these rinks because they're incredible.
Have you skated Castle Skateland in Ohio yet?
No, I haven't been out to Ohio to skate. Not yet.
A rotunda floor, and it's
massive. That's what I hear. I hear Ohio is
massive.
Wild. That and what's the one out in Oregon in the middle of the amusement park?
Yeah. I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Derek talks about it all the time. I want to get out there. I've been to both the Kates in Gastonia and Indian Trail down in North Carolina.
Yep.
I skated down in Texas one time when I was living there. I've been to Guptill's. Guptill's was
So that's the other place I'm thinking. It's like a museum, basically, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's the third largest in the world. I think it's the largest in the country, third largest rink in the world. 4 laps, I believe, is a mile. And no AC. Nothing fancy.
Yeah.
It's just a big warehouse with a beautiful wooden floor.
You got to get you out of Philly.
Yeah, no, I'd love to do Philly. I think that there's an event going on down in Maryland. There's some sort of a JB or a rhythm event happening in Maryland next weekend.
Well, see, the thing about Philly that you would appreciate though in the tri-state area is so we have the Philly Fall Skate Bash coming up November 8th, 9th at Philly Skateplex. But how much of the Fast Backwards have you seen?
I've seen Fast Backwards. They do Fast Backwards at Chez Vous, obviously, because they do everything there. They do a lot more Fast Backwards out in down in Roller Magic. It is really interesting to watch. I don't think it's really ever suited my style. Like it's not something that I want to try.
No, it's dangerous.
Really, but I've seen it, and I'm like, man, that's really fast.
You got to come to you got to come to Jersey, and you got to come to Philly to see it. See these cats like in groups of like 10.
Yeah,
like I mean,
I've seen groups of like 3 and 4 do Fast Backwards.
The Philly and Jersey got it. Like it's like
so
it's
that's
Philly style.
That's where you're going to see like trains and trios and snapping and all that sort of thing too. Is that all like Fast Backwards, trains and trios and snapping are all kind of like those are the. But it's so cool. I was just speaking with somebody about this today. About the what did she call it? It's like it's not a pack mentality. I'm using the wrong words, but the mammal's ability to work as a group and to like synchronize in steps goes even beyond shuffling in JB. Like that is an amount of high speed, dangerous precision that you need to nail. Because
let me tell you, yeah.
You misstep, there's a lot of people behind you that are in trouble.
Well, not only that, but if you watch them, they look over opposite shoulder.
Yeah.
So, like when you're skating backwards in a normal direction, you're crossing over this way, like, and you're looking over the shoulder.
Right.
But so now imagine you're traveling in the normal direction, but now you're looking over this shoulder. So 80% of your vision is gone now.
Yeah.
And you're trying to stay as tight to the wall as possible.
Right.
So like you're basically looking at the wall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's the direction you're looking. Oh yeah, I've seen some wrecks. But let me tell you, I have seen like, and it's not among like an entire group, but I've seen like there are nights where I go, like there'll be like one or two guys that I'm telling you, I watch move faster and with more precision backwards, moving in and out of the hairiest, tightest situations.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. Like everything's like, oh, you know, like, cause you're watching and it's not accident. It's not lucky. It's not like they're getting lucky.
No,
like
it's timing.
Oh my God.
It's timing. It's skill. It's absolutely. And I see people do that outside. Like when I watch like street skaters and stuff like that, like people rip going backwards.
Yeah.
Rip.
yeah. I think you'd be in your glory recording some of these guys down here.
Yeah,
man.
I would love to. Anywhere that I get the opportunity to go and record, I definitely want to, because again, it's just me being able to spread the word more. Every time I walk into a place, I'm talking about Roller Skate New England, saying, hey, if you haven't been to this rink or this rink or this rink, like come check it out, come skate with me, come check out these different places. It's doing the work to try and keep the culture as alive as we can all the time.
Well, I see you doing nothing but that, man. We're approaching an hour 50 here. This has been amazing. Was there anything else that, first off, I want to make sure you let everybody know exactly where they can find you on Insta, Facebook, YouTube, whatever.
You can find me on all of the platforms, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook by searching either Roller Skate New England or Sk8LikeYou. Right there. Nice. So you can find me on all those. One more thing, I wanted to show you my skates.
Please.
I brought a couple pairs of skates with me. I don't know if you want to add this to your podcast, but a little like skate tour equipment hardware check would be a fun thing. I don't know if you've considered that, but because I'd like to see yours at some point too. I saw them while we were at the rink. So I bought these boots online for $40 on Facebook, and I did all the painting and the customizations to them myself.
Oh, I did see these. Yes.
You saw these, right?
Yep.
So I finally finished them off with the backstay. I taped out and I did all the plaid using Alias. I think it's Alias.
Arius?
The leather paint. I went with the Falcon Pilots for my plates, the 16-degree truck angle, and Atom Tones for the wheels. Both the same hardness, 97As. And I also did the stitching on the tongue myself. So I added the buffalo plaid tongue.
You're about that red and black lumberjack, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at me. What do you expect?
Well, I know I had that Carhartt shirt on, and you were like, "Oh, that shirt is fire, dude!" And you were all decked out in like the red and black. I was like, "Okay, that makes sense."
Yeah. So I did all four sides of each skate. I got a little bit of scuffing, but I just like kind of further outline that to keep the continuity going. And then I actually built. Hey,
real quick, what boots are those?
That's a Rydell 120. It's
okay.
Cheap. It's a cheap boot, but again, like this guy was selling it for $40 on Marketplace. I was originally going to use them for outdoor skates because they're a little bit scuffed up, and then I started painting them. And I'm like, maybe I won't put these outside. This is the other one. So these are my old Vanillas. Vanilla back when they spelt out vanilla. Vanilla.
I was going to say, I haven't seen one like that.
This is an old speed boot that I added a heel to.
Okay, you put the heel on, because I'm like, wait,
I put the heel on. Yep. So this is...
Well, you're a cobbler too, dude?
I guess so. Yeah, no, I'm just ADHD, man. I just make stuff. The Century Pilot or Century plates, Sure Grip Centuries with no toe stop. Somebody gave me these roll line wheels as a gift, and they're super slick, and they don't have any corners on them, so my edges are all wacky. But I love sliding around in these things, and I just started painting them the other day too. So I just did all this custom paintwork.
What's the wheelbase on that? Do you
know? It is narrow. These are not these are not speed wheels. I don't know off the top of my hand. No.
But you don't know like the distance between the front and the back?
Here. This is I want to say it was 6 1/4. So one really important thing about wheelbase that I found is that in order for me to be effective on my toes and to do the type of skating that I want to do, I have to buy a slightly smaller plate than is recommended for my boot. Because I want my front axle I want my back wheels exactly where they're supposed to be underneath my heel. I want my front axle to be directly underneath the ball of my toe.
Yep.
Right, because I'm not speed skating. I don't need skateboards. I don't need all that pressure on my toes. I don't need to be able to like rely on my toes that much. I want to be able to rely on the pivot underneath my feet. Because like when you're speed skating, you're leaning forward a lot and you're like walking forward like in front of your momentum. For me, I want to be able to lift up really gently on my heel and go onto my toes.
Right.
So I believe my wheelbase is 6 1/4 or 6 1/2, somewhere in there from axle to axle. So cool. on a size 9 boot. So
yeah, nice.
There we go. So that's the gear. Man. That's the gear check. So
nice.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I don't know if you have anything else.
No, Mark, I think that was really comprehensive and really fun. I'm really glad that I came on. Thanks for following up with me.
Absolutely, man.
I know it's been a while. I know you're busy. I know I'm busy, but I'm glad that like you texted me last night and you're like, "Hey, do you have time?" And I'm like, "Yep, let's do it tomorrow."
I did not anticipate us doing it today, but it's cool with me.
Yeah, I'm really glad it worked out, and I think it went great.
This was fantastic. This is exactly how I wanted to go, man. I don't need we don't have to have some established format. We talked about what we want to talk about. We talked about what was natural to a car. We talked about if I was in that passenger seat driving with you from New York to Boston, probably what we've been talking about. That's
exactly.
my goal here.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So thank you so much, man. Thank you for everything you're doing.
Of course. I'm happy to do it. Thanks for the plugs and thanks for the everything, man. This has been good.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
We'll do a round 2. We'll do a round 2.
Will.
After we'll both do some more traveling. We'll come back to the table at some point and see what's new.
Yeah, well, we definitely got to figure out a time where we're going to be at the same spot too. We got to make that happen at some point.
Definitely. I gotta spend more time going south. I've been kind of like pushing myself west a little bit, but I got to get down south of Boston at some point and visit you guys down in Philly. So
sounds good, man.
Awesome.
Well, thank you again, man.
Of course. Thank you, Mark.
All right. Safe travels. Okay.
Thank you. Happy Halloween.
All right, take it easy. Oh, same to you, dude. Bye.